Much like the saying in the sun, how age is strongly revered, the Japanese people are have one of the longest lifespans in the world. And it's a question that many historians, humanists, and people who study the world have always questioned why are those factors that play into it. And we're here to discuss the factors that, such as family, social life, child development, work life, diet, and other factors play into it. And that's going to be the theme of our documentary.
It's a well-known fact that Japanese people live such long lives. I would say a good contributor to this is because they stay active. I've read an interesting fact that 98% of students in Japan either commute to school by biking or walking. It helps them keep the 60-minute requirement for physical activity for someone that wants to be healthy. I've also read that many companies and workplaces advise their employees to engage in physical activity before coming to work because it increases their level of productivity and also gives them an overall satisfaction of the job they're doing. There's also a town in Japan called Okinawa. It is considered a blue zone. A blue zone is a concept which basically explains let's say an area where the population lives to long ages. The average lifespan in Okinawa is 110, and it's because of multiple reasons. There's the diet. They consume a lot of tea. They consume a lot of fish as well. It's also herbs. And the elders, they engage in physical activities such as gardening and power walking. I believe that if people around the world follow the Japanese people's way of dietary and physical activity, I think it would decrease the death rate around the world and make people live longer and happy.
One of the main reasons as to why the Japanese live so long is that their country is so clean. There's a lot of groups and nonprofit organizations that pick up litter around the streets and around the cities and especially in businesses. They expect their employers and employees to pick up just around the workplace just to keep everything clean. And as you know, a clean environment leads to better health. There's less hazardous chemicals and toxins in the air and in the water. So as you can see, there's some trash here, and the Japanese, if they just walk by it, they'll just pick it up nonchalantly and they'll take care of it. There's another fact that I read actually during my research is that there's very few public trash cans. So people will just take care of their trash in their homes and they'll take it with them. They won't just throw it on the street. Another thing that I read about and that I found out about through my research is that the Japanese are the kings and queens of recycling. So as you can come over here, they actually separate their garbage into three different groups. So there's papers, and they actually separate their newspapers away from the regular papers. Get out of here. And then there's the plastics of the bottles, and then they'll just separate everything. And then there's also a separate trash can for the actual litter and trash and waste that they produce. So this is one of the main reasons as to why they live so prosper and long, is that they just clean up after themselves and they don't make a lot of waste and litter.
So family and social life has a huge and large impact into the reason why the Japanese live so long. For example, look at the elderly. Elderly makes up a large portion of the population in Japan. And one of the big reasons why the elderly live so long and people in Japan live so long in Japan is because they have caretakers. Now, these caretakers or caregivers, as they're called in Japan, are very similar to how retirement homes work, or or private nurses work in the United States or Western countries. And they basically they take care of the elderly and make sure that they also check in with the family to make sure that the elderly person or elderly family member is in good shape, good mental health, good physical health. These are very common when say when the family member is getting too old and like the family can't really take care of them, or the family's too busy and cannot take care of the family member. And it's a good way for the family to get less stress but also feel good the elderly member is in good hands. In Japan, they have a very close family circle, and it's been proven, like with other cultures, that having a close family circle has been proven to help lifespan increase and help people live longer.
The longevity of the Japanese citizens can be attributed to many things. The rice-centered food culture of Japan, which dates back to the Edo period in 1600 to 1868, is one reason. Buddhism came to Japan even earlier in the 6th century, and along with imperial edicts, eliminated almost all the flesh of animals and fowl from their diet. But later on, the Zen sect popularized the cooking style of Shojin Ryori, which was a healthy way of cooking that you can see in their cuisine today, and that helped bring back the meat along with other healthy ways. The consensus is that the small portions and the healthy cooked vegetables as a main source of nutrients help prevent heart disease, which is the #1 cause of death in people over 50. One of the staples, aside from rice in their diet, is seaweed, which is one preferred well to be very good. There's just one of the many secrets that the Japanese can share with us to lead a healthier and longer life.
Japan being one of the most healthy countries in the world and having one of the lowest child obesity rates in the world, I'll be talking about child development. And in child development, I'll be talking about school lunches in school, which Japan takes very seriously. For example, all the food is locally grown and is always fresh, never frozen. So physically, it's going to have a positive impact on the child's body. Mentally, the school teaches the kids what's right to eat and what's wrong to eat. So, for kids who don't know what's right to eat and what's wrong to eat, schools actually pay nutritionists to help the kids mentally teach them what's wrong and what's bad and what's good. So, you're telling me, how do they afford this? Well, parents pay a monthly bill for, like, the parents' kids pay a monthly bill for the nutritionist and for the fresh foods, helping kids grow longer, of course, because we're talking about longevity, and for the kids to finally eat right in this world. Sorry, why?
In Japan, they're considered to have very strong work ethic. Males actually work until age 79, and on average, females work until their mid-80s. Usually, the work satisfaction is very high once you start with a job that you really enjoy, and you stay in that job until you retire. Look at this gentleman, for example. He's well into his 80s and loves his job. He doesn't plan on retiring anytime soon, so he's going to work for a much longer time.
So now we have learned that why Japanese people do live more longer than others, and so basically if we learn from their diet, close family circle, and their physical activities, we should adopt something from there, and so that way we can live more longer than like they do. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Thanks.
Much like the strong roots of the traditional bonsai tree, the Japanese people are very self-disciplined in their culture and their beliefs. Sayonara.
For the kids that are picky,
1600 to 1686. Ah, shit. We dated back to the 1800 or 16. Ah, shit.
He's a very happy gentleman.
thank you.
Which is, yeah, that's it.
That's pretty much it.